Hi friends, welcome back to Hanging Out with Dr. Amber. It's me. I'm Dr. Amber and I am reporting live from my hotel room in Baltimore, Maryland. Look at this view. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? What a beautiful day. It is 39 degrees outside, so you will not catch me outside today. Catch me outside. How about that? You will not catch me outside, but it is a beautiful day. And my hotel is fairly newly renovated, so the carpet's not all gross and yucky. And I have like a towel and a blanket I'm sitting on to record this video. But hello, I want to have a conversation with you today about TEDx and how my TEDx experience impacted my life and my work life more specifically, and offer you some advice if you are someone who is thinking about delivering a TEDx and wants to do it. Or you're just curious as wanting to know what it's like to deliver a TEDx talk. That's what this video is about. And I'm in Baltimore for work. I was here keynoting a conference, and I did a second session on the second day of the conference, which was today. And something happened today that reminded me that I wanted to sit down and talk to you all about this topic specifically. One of the attendees, she came up to me and was like, "Oh my gosh, Dr. Amber, thank you so much. I really enjoyed your presentations. Like, you're just so amazing." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. You're so kind." And she was like, "Could we get a picture?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Let's do it." And she said, "I want to take a picture to send to my mom." And I was like, "Your mom? How sweet." She was like, "Yeah, my mom knows you." I was like, "She knows me?" And she said, "No, I mean, like, not personally, but she's watched your TEDx talk." And when I told her, we were just talking about this, so this conference for her job. And she said, "Oh, well, who are you guys going to have as your speakers this year?" And she said, "Well, one of them is this lady named Dr. Amber, and she was so good yesterday." And she was like, "That name sounds so familiar." And she said, "My mom watches TEDx Talks all the time, and she sends them to me all the time." And she was like, "I know her. I have watched her video more than once." And she had actually said, she was like, "I think she sent it to me, but I have to go back and double check because I'm not sure." And I thought that was the sweetest thing, something I thought would never happen to me. So this woman's mom watched my TEDx and sent it to her daughter. And when she told her that I was speaking today, she was like, "I have to get a picture with her. This is with you. This is going to make her so happy." And that just made my heart want to burst. So anyway, that reminded me that in February of this year, I hit my 6th year, anniversary. And it's not even necessarily something to keep track of per se, but it just dawns on me sometimes that, so many years have passed now, because it's still a key kind of like part of my work life, and I'm going to talk about that. So if you are someone who is thinking about giving a TEDx, then the very first piece of advice that I want to give to you, and this is not even advice that I feel like I wish someone had shared with me, but this is just what I think based upon my own experience. One, I think that you should know what your message is. You should be really clear about what you want to talk about, because if you are selected, the process doesn't really lend itself to you figuring that out in real time. You should have an idea of what your message is. And one of the things that I love about the TEDx application process is, like, one of the first questions on there is, what is your idea and why is it worth spreading? What is your idea and why is it worth spreading? I love that so much, because everybody has an idea. We all have something that we think we want to say, but why is it something that is worth being spread? Because that's the tagline for TED, the organization: ideas worth spreading. So, TED has been around for so many years, but it just really exploded into mainstream popular culture and became a form of like edutainment when they started licensing the TEDx brand to smaller conference organizers who wanted to host their own events, because it's also very expensive to attend the TED conference. And it just exploded globally, literally around the world. Small conference organizers are hosting these events and sharing ideas worth spreading. And if you've never been, what it's like is you don't go and just deliver your 15-minute talk and then you go home. It's literally a conference. So it's a day fully set up. You're probably going to be there from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They have all of the TEDx speakers, kind of spread out one after another, maybe with a quick intermission. So it's also a commitment as well, which is why you've got to be sure that this is an experience that you feel up for, and that you're clear about what you want to talk about, because it's going to stay with you and it's going to follow you for years, if not the rest of your life. And so, that's the first piece of advice. Like, you really need to know what your message is. Because when I did mine, I had applied. So I delivered it at my alma mater for undergrad, California State University, Long Beach, go Beach. And when I delivered mine, like, I had applied a couple of years before and I wasn't selected. And I think that's because I wasn't really solid, like 10 toes down on what my message was. I applied thinking about the end result. You know how I always say sometimes people are focused on the glory instead of the story? That was me. Because this was the era of Brene Brown, where you could see how her life had changed from a TEDx. She did not deliver a talk on the main TED stage at the big event. She delivered a TEDx talk that literally changed her life. And it's the reason why we know who she is today, all of these years later. But then she was really very, I won't say at the height of her popularity, but she was, I think, the first person that I had ever encountered, whose work I had ever encountered that started with the TEDx and then just like blew up from there. So I think I was thinking about what sounded good, or what the judges, not the judges, but the committee would want to hear, as opposed to what do I really want to say and what do I have to say that feels important to me. So I wasn't chosen that first time. And a couple of years later, someone had sent me the link and I was like, oh, should I try again? Oh, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I should think about it. And I did. I decided to give it a second go. But this time, I was much more clear on the message that I wanted to give and what I wanted to say. And it was something that I believed in deep down in my bones. And it's still something that I believe in all these years later. I delivered it, I believe, on February 19th. I know it was in February of 2020 because just after that, the whole world shut down. We all had no idea about COVID when we were at that conference. But anyway, I went in, I was clear-minded, and I just was like, I'm going to give this my best shot. But I also know that even if I don't get selected for this is something that I'm going to be talking about forever, because it is what I truly and honestly believe in. And that's what I did, y'all. The committee loved me. We had a really great conversation, and I was selected along with a batch of really amazing people. And we had our event, and it was fantastic. So this question of this topic of ask better questions to build better connections was something that I knew that I had something worthwhile adding to that conversation about why questions and leading with curiosity and being thoughtfully curious is the pathway to living a beautiful life. Because as I say in the talk, that relationships are life's greatest currency. And somebody said in the comments once, like, oh, of course, in American capitalist America, somebody would say that relationships are life's greatest currency. But I don't mean that in like the sense of money, but I do believe that you are wealthy if you are rich in your relationships. And I believe that to this day. So 1, know what your message is and be confident in it. And then 2, if you want to be a speaker like I am, I already was a speaker at that time, but if you want to be a speaker, or you want to hopefully get opportunities from delivering a TEDx, then you've got to also change the format from the 14 to 18 minute talk format and put it into a keynote format that feels slightly different than what you might have delivered on the video. Because for me, when people started reaching out and inquiring about booking me to speak, I was like, well, I have to, and if they came to me, if they found me because of my TEDx, they might have still been interested in the topic, but the format had to match whatever the event was that they were looking to book me for. And so obviously I wasn't going to stand up again and deliver another 14-minute talk. Of course not. It could take me months to prepare to do that. So I had to change the format into a traditional, just kind of, 1 hour keynote or a 30-minute keynote that extracted the main points, but still gave them a different experience than what they would have seen for free on YouTube. Because if I'm a paid professional speaker and people want to hire me, then they're not going to want to pay for something that they could already get online. So keep that in mind and think about how you would take the same structure. So you already have the content, you already have the outline if you've delivered it. And then afterward, how do I want to translate this into different formats that still feel relevant, but also feel relevant to the topic that I'm speaking on and that I'm an expert on, but that also can meet the agenda and the format of the events that I'm being booked to speak for. So that's like number 2. Y'all see me looking back like I got my note cards here. And I think I'm gonna print me some that say like Dr. Amber, because I used to, I grew up in the 80s, so all the talk shows, the hosts had their own little cards. These were the cards from the hotel. But anyway, so number 3, if you also want to be a speaker and you are changing the format so that way you can deliver the topic from your TEDx in different formats, then I will also want to suggest that you have a process for that. If you can get a website, something basic and simple. You don't have to out the gate spend thousands of dollars on a website. You can get you a Squarespace website, or I don't think I'm gonna say Wix because I don't know about that, but you can find you a little something. You can make a website in Canva now, and list your topics, list your bio, or include your bio and include a link to your talk, and then also have a form where you can embed the talk on your website. And then you can also have a form where people can use that people can use to reach out, to connect with you and inquire about booking you to speak. I will say that in the 6 years since I delivered my TEDx, it has been the single most profitable referrer that I have in my business. Maybe not the single most, but I have probably gotten the most leads online from people that I didn't already know or were not already in my network from my TEDx. And so on my form on my website, wordswillsaid.com/speaking, if you want to book me to speak at your conference or an event, it'll ask you, where did you learn about Dr. Amber? And TEDx, I watched her TEDx talk as one of the options, because I wanted to start tracking how people found me, because I was starting to get more phone calls from people who found me online through that talk. So you need to have, it's helpful if you have a process to take people through. So to this day, I get comments on social media from people who have found me from my talk. They watch it all hours of the day and night, then they'll Google me, and I have a digital footprint that's large enough to where they know, oh yes, that's the same lady, and they will send me messages on Instagram, on LinkedIn. It's been amazing. It's been one of the sweetest things over the years, like a kind of surprise, because I never know when they're going to come. I got one the other day, and I'm going to read it to you in a second because it was really sweet, but I want to just make sure that I drive home this point that you want to have those breadcrumbs that lead people directly to you if they search for you after you deliver your talk. I have made a significant amount of money, I will say, over the years because of my TEDx, and also because it's really good. I ain't gonna even hold you. It's so good, and I'll listen to it still sometimes to this day because I just enjoy it so much. Even though I wrote it and delivered it, but yeah, I've booked a lot of business from that, but you can't think about that only as an outcome. Results may vary. Nobody can guarantee. I certainly can't guarantee that that's going to happen for you. But if in the event that your visibility does increase on the other side of you delivering a TEDx, then you want to have that process in place. You want to be ready to receive the overflow or the income or the leads or whatever, and be prepared for that and show your professionalism and show that you're ready to book more stages on the other side of delivering a TEDx, because obviously it may not be obvious to you, but it is an unpaid speaking experience. It's something that you do because you genuinely want to. And people who are just really thirsty and hungry and, desperate to get on stages, and they're applying for TEDx 20 different times, all these different cities just to get on, it's possible that can work. But are you sure that, like I said in the beginning, you're clear on what you have to say, and that you're doing it for, I hate to even say the right reasons, because what's right for me may not be right for you, and what's wrong for me may not be wrong for you, whatever. But I do think that the experience of it all is very different when like, okay, I'm ready for whatever can come on the other side of this. So make it easy for people to find you, I think, is what I'm getting at afterward. Because also, you never know what people are, how people are going to find you, and when. So again, just 6 years later, I'm still hearing, even from today at the conference, I'm still to this day hearing people. One of my clients, she's preparing for her TEDx that's coming up soon, and she said, hey, Dr. Amber, I'm just now watching your TEDx, and you are absolutely incredible, funny, smart, and inspirational. And I thought, oh my God, that was so nice. And then the DM that I got the other day on Instagram, or recently, I should say, the woman said, ooh, I don't got my glasses on. Hold on, everybody. I came across your TEDx video today. It was about asking better questions, and I don't hesitate in mentioning that it made my day. Apart from all the good things you shared about the subject, one more thing which stayed with me is how polite, empathetic, and connected you were sounding, even after being thousands of miles away, and without you being aware that I am watching. I felt so connected to you. The way you speak, you develop an instant connection. You are so mild and yet so powerful. Thanks for making a difference in people's life. I wish all the good things in your life. What? The woman lives in India, y'all, all the way around the globe. But she watched my video and took the time to find me online and shared this message with me. And I thought, wow, what a blessing. So think about that and make sure that it's something that you can be proud of for many years to come. Again, to deliver mine on the stage at my alma mater, place that was so transformative for me and impactful in my development as a young person and in my life and career. Not even just going to college, but going to that particular college really changed my life. And to be able to go back and deliver and be a part of this experience, it felt like a homecoming, like a real full circle moment. And then now, all these years later, to still be feeling positive impact, to be receiving positive feedback about the impact of my talk, it really means a lot to me. And so I think that comes down to the fact that I knew what I had to say, and I knew that it was defining for me and it was important to me, and that came through in the way that I delivered it. So those are my little pieces of advice. If you are considering giving a TEDx talk, if it's something that's on your bucket list or your goals list or your big dreams, some people would say that it's kind of losing its appeal because it's like, oh, everybody's giving a TEDx now. It's not as special, I think, as it might have used to feel, as it might have felt in the past to some people. I don't think I'll ever do it again. Because I don't need to. And I think also too, because I do this for a living, so I'm always giving presentations, but it was a lot of work. Oh my goodness, it really was. And it was just a strong investment of my time. I delivered mine without any aids. I didn't have a PowerPoint or a slide deck, no pictures, nothing. So I had to memorize it. And I never tell my clients who come to me for speaking help to memorize a presentation. I believe in extemporaneous speaking, which is like a hybrid of improv and a manuscript, but I memorized my talk. I can't repeat it to you now verbatim. There are some sections that I know that I could say sentence for sentence or word for word, but I don't need to have that type of experience. Never no more. So I'm happy that I'm still happy with mine 6 years later, and who knows where I'll be 10 years from now, or 4 years from now, which will be 10 years since I had delivered it. And I will also comment and say that what I had to say was not nothing new, okay? There's nothing new under the sun. There are no new ideas. There are so many TEDx Talks about asking the right question and connection and relationships and all of that, and curiosity and inquiry. There's so many on this topic, but I hope that I can sit before you as proof that no one's going to say it the way you're going to say it. And there's someone out there who needs to hear you say it the way you say it. And that was true for me. And if you want to hear me speak, again, go to wordswellsaid.com/speaking. And I would love to come to your organization, learn more about what your needs and goals are as they relate to communication, and help your people become better communicators. Because, as I said in the talk, the quality of your life is directly influenced by your ability to communicate with confidence and with clarity. So thank you for watching this video and for hanging out with me for a few minutes. And I will see you in the next one. If you have any questions that I can answer for you as it relates to my TEDx experience, definitely drop a comment below. I would love to hear from you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.